Hundreds of pubs will reopen their doors today for the first time since March 2020. They will join the thousands of other pubs and restaurants which will welcome customers inside as long as they are vaccinated or have recovered from COVID within the past 6 months. Their unvaccinated children can also go in. A maximum of 6 people over the age of 13 can sit at a table, but when children under that age are added in, the maximum number sitting at one table cannot be more than 15. ID will have to be produced along with evidence of recovery or vaccination. There will be no time limit on how long you can stay, and the closing time is at 11:30. So are people looking forward to getting back indoors to eat and drink? Well, these people in Newcastle West and County Limerick have been speaking to our reporter Elise Sheehy.
No, I'll stick with outdoor dining or takeaways for the time being anyway, because the numbers are way too high. And I'd be very nervous. Even though I've got my 2 vaccinations, I'd still be too nervous to go in.
They're saying with the vaccine that you have a very high level of protection. Would that not be some reassurance to you?
No, I do wish all the pubs and restaurants well, but I'll be sticking to outdoor and takeaway, I'm afraid.
Do you have any plans to dine or to drink indoors now that it's permitted for fully vaccinated people?
Definitely. It really depends, I would say, on the weather. So if it's, sunny like it has been for the last week, 100% I would still remain outdoors. If it was raining, it was dull, I would go indoors. I would feel safe indoors or outdoors. I think definitely we will be booking other places that haven't had the chance to open because they've not had outdoors. We will be using those facilities to go and dine and have a drink and stuff, yep.
I think we've been waiting for this day for a long time. It's a big positive, so I definitely think we should take full advantage of it and support the economy and try to get back to positive things and move forward, as I say.
Due to the spread of the Delta variant, the cases, of course, are on the rise. Would you be in any way apprehensive about going indoors?
I think being fully vaccinated, it's more of a peace of mind. But I suppose at the back of your head, you might be a little bit anxious. But I think we've been through so much. I think people just have to, I suppose, move forward with it, as I've said.
Do you have any plans to dine or drink indoors now that it's permitted here for fully vaccinated people?
Well, I haven't any plans. But certainly if I did meet a friend and if we felt like with them, yeah, I would avail of it.
Oh, most certainly. Like Madeleine, I definitely would.
Do you have any plans to dine or drink indoors?
I'm happy to dine indoors because I feel that I'm vaccinated, but would more than likely hold off bringing my children indoors until we see how the next few weeks go.
And why is it that you wouldn't bring your children with you?
I would just have some worries about the Delta variant and the rate of transmissibility for that, on how it'll affect the children. And I think my focus is on just getting them back to school in September. So whatever we have to do to make that a safe return, then I'm happy to go along with it.
Elise Sheehy there talking to some people in County Limerick. Well, we can talk now to the Chief Executive of the Vintners Association of Ireland, Pádraig Cribben. He's on the line now. Pádraig Cribben, is everything clear to you and your members this morning as to how this is going to operate in practice?
I would use the word almost. There have been some changes overnight, some changes that we welcome in relation to the contact tracing element of what needs to be done. On Friday it was announced that there would have to be contact tracing details for every individual in a party. That was a change because previously it was just the lead person. That's now reverted back again to the lead person. That's welcome because the change on Friday did not make any sense, even from a public health point of view. It would have been negative.
And yet, Pádraig, just on that point, I'm reading the most, I think they're the most up-to-date guidelines agreed with Bord Fáilte, and within them there's a contradiction because number 6 it says separately the name and contact number of each customer over the age of 18 must be taken for contact tracing purposes, and then further down within the contact tracing section itself it says, as you've just said, businesses must keep a record of the time and date of arrival at the premises of a group, sole customer and the name and telephone number of the lead person in the group. So is that contradictory?
Yes, but these regulations were finalised at midnight. To be fair to the people in Fáilte Ireland who verbalise those guidelines, and the guidelines are a 32-page document. It may have been missed somewhere along the line, and I'm sure that will be corrected this morning. The reality is that it will only be the lead contact that will be required. And also overnight there was what I would consider a pretty ridiculous proposal that you had to have designated numbers on tables, you had to record the number of people at each table and the time they arrived. Now that designated table issue is gone also. So there are still some elements that we haven't seen the templates yet that are to be used for recording purposes, and I'm still waiting to see the actual regulation in respect of the vaccination certification for people from the US, the UK and Northern Ireland. So there's quite an amount of work still to be done this morning, so that all of the regulations can be complied with when people open.
Okay, because just on that last point then, because obviously many people, cross the border every day and they will have been vaccinated in the north, but if they have their equivalent of a vaccination certificate, that is acceptable at the doors of pubs and restaurants?
Absolutely, but I haven't seen the regulation to see exactly specifically what they are looking for in that regard, but it will be there, and we will be advising our members of the detail of all of this early today.
Will reopening be spread over the week, do you imagine? Not everyone will reopen today.
Oh, absolutely. I think it will be spread over the week. Today is a day of relief after almost 500 days for a lot of businesses being closed. But it's relief mixed with a lot of anxiety. Because there are many challenges in the guidelines. There are many challenges that we have seen since people opened outdoor, with people wanting to cause problems, refusing to wear masks, etc. And if you look at a lot of stuff that has been happening online in the last 10 days, 2 weeks, of people indicating that they're going to cause problems by way of fake reservations, by way of creating problems at doors on the basis that they're being discriminated against. So there's a lot of anxiety there as well, and yes, it will be spread out. I suspect that Monday would not necessarily be the busiest day in the week anyway. So I think that it'll be over the coming week that we will see the numbers of outlets that will actually reopen.
And is there a nervousness just about reopening in terms of the virus? Because the peak of the fourth wave, the Delta wave, has not hit yet. And I'm just wondering that the lessons learned from Christmas and the New Year and alcohol and the virus, they're not a good mix. Are people nervous about reopening full stop?
Well, I think you're putting two and two together and saying that the problems over Christmas and the New Year were down to alcohol and pubs and restaurants, and I don't accept that as a reasonable assumption. What we found over Christmas and New Year, that a lot of the spread was due to domestic settings, but let's park that for now. The reality is there is nervousness across a whole range of issues around today and in the weeks ahead. But we've been closed for 16 months. Businesses need to get back to trading. They need to try and survive. They need to get staff back to work in a safe manner, and there are all of those challenges. And it is a situation where it's not just about the publican, it's also about the public. And we would urge all of the public to cooperate with publicans in putting these regulations in place. Bear in mind that these regulations are the law of the land, and all the publican will be doing in the coming days and weeks is actually implementing the law of the land that they need to do to make sure they continue to have a licence.
Okay, thank you very much. Padraig Cribben, Chief Executive of the Vintners Federation of Ireland.